You want your microphone?
Sure. All he did was hand it.
Good afternoon. As Charlie said, I am Jeremy Maske. I am the second National Vice President for the, just a second, I got to get this all in here, National Council of Social Security Administration Field Operations Locals. And I'm also serving as the president of AFGE Local 836 here in Des Moines, Iowa. On the national level, our council represents roughly 1,500 Social Security offices and telephone units with about 40,000 employees. Local 836 here in Iowa represents all the Social Security employees that you'll find in the state of Iowa and also in the state of Nebraska. We represent about 300 people in those offices. SSA being an open shop means we only have about 50% membership. What our employees do in those offices is they help your relatives file for benefits. They help file for retirement, for disability, for death benefits when a loved one dies. They sit there and they change your addresses. They change your direct deposit information when you call into the field offices or come in and wait in line to see them. They basically do a lot of paperwork to ensure that you get your Social Security benefits every month on time. The amount of money that we pay out to claimants here in Iowa is actually quite staggering. I had to double check it a few times this morning. The figures for 2014 were there was about 600,000 people in the state of Iowa who received Social Security benefits. And these aren't the SSI benefits. These are the retirement benefits, the disability benefits that you get based on your wages from working. We collect in the state $758 million every month in Social Security benefits. That money, in turn, is directly spent back in the economy because there aren't too many people who collect Social Security benefits who are going to be saving it. Nationwide, that's about $71 billion every month. The number of people in the state of Iowa who help administer all that money, 300 people. We have a huge impact on the state's economy, but we employ very few people. Our employees are consistently being asked to do more with less, produce higher numbers, and reduce backlogs every single day. Our employees are as stressed as I've seen them. I've been there for 15 years, and it's never been as bad as it is right now. We have dealt with government shutdowns. While we're shut down, we're not shut down, we're still working. We're just working without the guarantee of pay. We've dealt with hostile Congresses and White Houses that if they weren't working against us, they weren't doing a whole hell of a lot to help us. Federal employees at Social Security are your dedicated, efficient, and caring individuals. They understand what's at stake when they do their jobs right, and they understand what's at stake when they do them wrong. We all have grandparents, parents, aunts, uncles, sisters, brothers who receive Social Security benefits, who rely on Social Security benefits to pay rent, to eat, to live. The cornerstone of Social Security is our field office structure. It's a place where you can go in and get service. You can go in and see somebody who's been trained to do the job. Traditionally, that's been true. Social Security is moving in the wrong direction at this point. What we've seen at the state level with kiosks for driver's licenses, workforce development, Social Security is adopting some of those same practices where if you have questions, you need to do business with us, we're going to put you at a computer, you can do it yourself. They're doing this based on the fact that our budgets are decreasing. At the federal level, the Republican Congress, they don't want to give us more money. They want to see it privatized. There was a huge push for that back in the Bush years. Well, it's still going on today. So we have this thing called Vision 2025. Vision 2025 is this vision where we do more with less. We see our footprint in communities shrink and online services become our primary service delivery option. Their vehicle for doing this, and maybe some of you have done this, is called MySSA. My SSA is a program where you go in and you make an account, passwords. It's kind of like online banking, except for online banking only applies to people who bank at certain banks. Social Security applies to everybody. The system will allow you to request new Social Security cards online, which means we don't have to check your IDs anymore, which is great for us because we got all this work to do, but it's horrible for identity theft. You can change your bank information online, which is great for, I don't know, if you got somebody who lives in your house who wants to get your money and they know your information, maybe they can divert your check somewhere where it's not supposed to go. We'll never know that because we don't talk to you. Vision 2025 was laid out in a document that was produced by, it was a congressional mandated document. It was about 20 pages long. It talked about my SSA on every single page of this 20-page document and only mentioned Social Security field offices twice in the entire thing. It calls for video conferencing, emails, and instant messaging as a means of in-person service. I have a 94-year-old grandmother. She still lives in her own house in Peterson, Iowa. Very independent. She has a computer in her house, but it is only used when her great-grandchildren are home. She doesn't even know how to turn it on. And we're asking these people to go online to do their business, to do the most important business that they have in terms of their finances. What we need is no different than what any other federal agency needs. I'm sure Ed will agree. We need resources. We need the resources to do our jobs, to serve the public, and unfortunately, we have to battle Congress on this issue all the time. We have other battles that we're fighting at the same time. We are constantly fighting off attacks on our official time, which is the time we get to do our jobs as union reps. We're constantly fighting attacks on our image by members of Congress who would rather see our jobs go to the public sector. In fact, we have a House Resolution 4461, the Federal Employees' Rights Act, which was introduced last week by Representative Tom Price out of Georgia. And what that does is it actually takes rights away from federal employees. It would eliminate the ability for federal employees to choose to have their dues automatically deducted from their paychecks. Automatic deduction doesn't cost the government anything. In fact, we have a lot of other deductions that come out of our paychecks voluntarily that they do anyway. So this was just another one, but it's a good place to hit us. They also want to make it so that the fact that federal employees aren't required to pay union dues, they want to make it harder for us to establish bargaining units in the federal sector. They want to change it so instead of counting the people who actually vote, they want to make it so 50% of a unit has to vote in favor. Not just the ones that vote, but the entire unit. So if the majority of your unit doesn't vote, you're out of luck. While the federal employee issues are issues that are not generally dealt with at the state level, we do appreciate the work that all of you do at the State House because the work you do helps influence the peoples that make decisions, which influences our federal lawmakers as well. I appreciate the work that you're all doing this week, the ability to go out and talk to your state legislators and have an impact affects all of my members as much as it does yours and the public that we serve. Thank you.